Okay, so on the diplomatic front, better news for the president this week. He's got a friend in town.
He does. And, you know, nobody has emulated President Trump more than the president of Brazil, so much so that he's called the Trump of the Tropics. He's prolific on Twitter. In fact, one of his latest tweets from just a few hours ago really gives you a sense of how similar he sounds to President Trump. He said, quote, "Evil journalists recently spoke of being in the market generated by the government. Well, the stock market has now reached another historical mark. The expectations generated by the government's actions are the best, and positive news only appear. Brazil above all caps." Sound familiar? Well, tomorrow, Bolsonaro will meet President Trump in person for the very first time at the White House. Senior administration officials say the focus will be on trade and Venezuela. The two leaders will also hold what's sure to be a fiery joint press conference in the Rose Garden, where they'll likely highlight the improved relations between their two countries. So much so that today, Bolsonaro visited CIA headquarters and delivered a speech to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, where he blasted the views of his two predecessors as anti-American, telling the crowd, now you have a president who is a friend of the United States. But the far-right former Army captain has a long history of making comments that are antithetical to American values, especially when it comes to the LGBT community. Bolsonaro has advocated for violence against LGBTQ Brazilians, even going so far as to say about his son that, quote, "I'd rather he died in an accident than show up with some guy. To me, he really would have died." But it's his and his family's relationship with corrupt police officers and paramilitary gangs that's making headlines right now. Just last week, two former Rio de Janeiro police officers were arrested for the assassination of a city councilwoman last year. And Brazilian media has been publishing photos of Bolsonaro with his arm around one of the suspects. Police say Bolsonaro's son had once dated the other suspect's daughter. So hard to imagine that Bolsonaro will not get asked at least one question about that at tomorrow's press conference, Shannon.
Yep, and we asked him about all of those things in our conversation with him today.
You beat him to it.
Well, we'll see how his answers compare tonight with tomorrow. Kristen, thank you very much.
Thanks, Shannon.